Oh, jeez. Good morning. Good morning. I've seen so many names fly by. I wasn't paying attention. Sorry. Good morning, everybody. Oh, good morning. I woke up this morning and I was like, I don't know if today's a good morning. And I said, I gotta make it a good morning if I want to, Laura. So it was like one of those blah moods. Sometimes I wake up like I'm all pumped. Sometimes I wake up, I'm like all creepy. This morning was blah. And then I said, this is about 2 hours ago. I said, blah on blah. Like, why do I have to be blah? Let's do it again. Closed my eyes. And I decided that I'd have a nice day. Blah on blah. Good morning, everybody. Oh, Billy D sent us a nice letter. You guys are going to want me to read that. Or at least I want to read it. Give me 5 people here that want to hear it. I have to wait till a few more people are here, but I'm going to play a Billy D special. But I need 5 people that want to hear it. Okay, Holly, you count. Holly, you're sweet. Did you know that? Derek, I'm glad you're back. Hope everything's getting better out there. Yeah. We missed us some Derek Anderson. Okay, where are we at here? Where are we at here? Let's get to work here. What do you guys think about this? Does anybody agree with this? Sarcastic Stoners United? Just give me 1 or 2 people. I don't know. You don't agree. You agree or you disagree. It's up to you. Let's see. Let me turn it down. Nerdy, I love your smile. Okay, here we go. Wait, Pops. What are you doing? Okay, give me a second. I don't even know what the heck. Okay. Where's my volume? Okay.
Stimulants.
There we go.
The way to get those stimulants is
Okay,
to be sad and you will become addicted.
Don't say, yeah, wait.
If you
Okay,
deal with
wait.
being sad,
Don't. Okay. Penny, I'm a wreck. I shouldn't say that because it makes me believe it. Penny, I'm going to get better at it. Penny, I'm going to get better. If I keep doing what I'm doing, I'm going to get better. Okay? Here we go. Gosh darn it. I thought here we went. All right. One more time, I think. Why am I? Oh, okay. That's why. Okay. When I clasp it on here, it turns it all the way down. This clasp was pushing against that button right there. See, Penny, we can figure this out. Okay? We can do this. Okay. Now let's try it again.
that the way to get those stimulants is to be sad and you will become addicted to being sad.
Start over.
If you deal with being sad by treating treating yourself to unhealthy stimulants, your brain will learn that the way to get those stimulants is to be sad, and you will become addicted to being sad.
One more time. Do you
If
agree?
you deal with being sad by treating yourself to unhealthy stimulants, your brain will learn that the way to get those stimulants is to be sad, and you will become addicted to being sad. If you deal with being sad...
Where's the... Why is it so close? Who agrees with that? 100% agree with that. I do. I 100% agree with that. Sadness can be an addiction. Sometimes sadness is a form of a depression too, isn't it? 5280, we see it all the time. And then what happens is, in order to handle your sadness, you take drugs. Usually it's one of those pharmaceutical ones that some doctors told you, this'll take care of your sadness. And I think it's a form of depression. And I'm not being an expert on this. I'm just, when Streety sent me this, and I was like, I think I've done that. I think there's been periods in my life where I have been sad, and I've inappropriately treated that sadness. I think I've found more appropriate ways to treat. I think we all reach even our life cycle, sadness and happiness and joy and sorrow and pain, and great times and good times. Life cycles those things, just like the universe and nature cycles things. And we get to experience them all, the fullness of our being. It's how we choose to handle those cycles. And when I choose to handle one of those cycles in a way that is so detrimental to me in the long run, I don't need to get addicted to pills to handle my cycles. Can I say that again? Don't get addicted to pills to handle our cycles. So that was a really good one. Here's another good one. Oftentimes you hear me complain about phones, social media. And let me tell you, it's a scourge. We're ruining our next generation, for want of a better way to put it. And there's so much data now, and there's so much out there, that if we don't limit the children's time on these devices, even our own times, I've cut back completely after the last year or so. I was I was doing 12 IG posts a day. I was checking it all the time. Because it was new to me. It was a new sensory experience. And I still had to do my mature life. So I was like living 3 lives, 2 jobs and a phone job. And it was no problem. And you spin out of control. And 12 posts a day becomes 14. So we backed it down. Let's do 1 or 2. Let's miss a day or 2. Anyways, I have to approach my experience with my phone differently. When was it? Sunday. Turned it off. Put it away. I'm just going to spend today reading, doing some modeling, head to the grow house, back and forth. The phone doesn't even get to be part of my life today. And I missed it all day. But you have to do those things once in a while for your own emotional clarity. It's a maturity thing too, I think. For me, I think I'm more mature if I could put my phone down for a little while. So having said all of that, our phones are becoming more and more useful because they've got everything in them. We walk around with computers. We walk around with computers in our hands. I remember my first computer was like, what did they call the towers? And you got all the different stuff, and you got this, and you got cords coming in, and you got cables running around. I had no idea 30 years later, all they'd have to do is hand me some little flim-flammy thing, and I'd be able to look up the universe. Never, it's just we don't work because we're so conditioned year after year. Now we're getting AI in our hand on the new phones. So all you have to do is tell Siri, hey, what was his name that I met? And Siri will tell you, and she'll send you 3 pictures and a background study on the guy. It's getting nutty. And I'm not being get off my porch guy, or get off my lawn. I mean, I'm I'm just talking about phones, and phones are. You guys know it intrinsically. You're seeing what it's doing to our. How many times do you like to say? I don't say youth anymore. Do you remember the the movie Goodfellas? Do you remember the movie Goodfellas? One of the greatest actors of all time. That movie acting, Joe Pesci. How good was Joe Pesci in Goodfellas? Let me. How good was Joe Pesci? Utes. Yeah, they weren't youths. They were Utes. That alone's crazy. And then that it was My Cousin Vinny. No. It was one where he was a crazy maniacal guy. He was like he would go from like a really funny guy to he'd stab you in the eye at the party. Okay? Utes. So we're talking about our youths right now, all right? To me, every time I think of talking about our youth, I remember that movie. Okay? My God. Remember it was Goodfellas. You guys remind me of one of the scenes in Goodfella. He was in the bar, or no, diner. They were in the diner. They were sitting around drinking coffee or telling jokes. And he's, do I look funny to you? Am I funny to you? Ray Liotta's character doesn't know. Am I here to amuse you? Funny, you mean like a clown funny? See, that whole dialogue there, that scene, because if you hadn't seen it before, you're the first time watching that movie, you're going, oh no, this guy's going off. Just like Ray Liotta's character. Oh, so that was a good movie. Say hello to my little coffee. Do I look funny? Like clown funny? That's right, Herbs. It was an OG movie, okay? And Joe Pesci, just one hell of a good gangster actor. Okay. So we're talking about our youths. Ray Liotta was great. He's always good in his movies. I'm sorry he's passed away. He's so intense. He's so intense. He's got those eyes. All right. Good fellas. Pulp Fiction was great too. Any Quentin Tarantino movie, sign me up. I don't care. Quentin's my second favorite actor, director of all time. Who's my first? Who's Pop's first favorite director of all time? It might not surprise you, but you're gonna have to think for a second. Okay? Quentin, all the way. Quentin's probably number one. Tommy John, get out of here, nerdy. No. Jesus Christ, you're so out of line. Did he direct his own movies? I didn't know that. Scorsese's great. Hitchcock is phenomenal. Hitchcock top 5. Ron Howard. I think Ron Howard. Oliver Stone used to make me upset at one back when I was being conservative. Oliver, now, okay, I'll listen. Back when I was being conservative, I was like, who does this guy think he is? Yeah, Joe, I'm for Ron Howard. I like me some Opie movies. They were good movies. Opie made good movies. Opie! Oh yeah, all of those. Andy Griffith Show, good. Maybe RFD, okay? But of course, Spielberg. Got to put Spielberg way up at the top of my list. I love Spielberg, especially back earlier Spielberg. But yeah, great guy. And then the Scorseses and Anyways, movies. What was I talking about all that for? Okay, that's neat, Penny. Clint Eastwood, he was, yeah, the problem with Clint Eastwood is everything seemed the same. That's the only problem. You've seen 3 Clint Eastwood movies, you've seen them all. Okay? You'll see him as a Dirty Harry, you'll see him as a cowboy, and you'll see him as an old man flexing his muscles, is still steroided muscles somewhere. Okay? So he was good though. I'm not, I have nothing bad to say about Clint Eastwood, especially because when he was mayor of Carmel, California, he was a mayor. That's pretty cool. And I think he, if I remember correctly, he donated his time and his money or something like that. So nothing bad to say about old Clint. How about let's watch what I was going to talk about. Do you feel lucky? J-Rod, we're going to be in our second stage of growing mushrooms this morning. Okay? Gran Torino, good movie. Let's look at a new way, a better way. Let's look at a better way to use our phones. Okay? What do you think? Jet Li too. Yeah. We're gonna, if our youths could learn how to use a phone like this.
Day 1, day 2, 6, day 10, 15, 20, day 30, day 51, 57, day 61. I'm doing something fun after work until because it makes me feel alive again. And this is how it started. I was out of college, working so many jobs, trying to find my purpose. Until I was eventually defining my worth in what job I had. And it became the most miserable cycle, doing the same routine every day and living for other people. I became depressed and I stopped taking care of myself. Until one day after work, I decided I was gonna live for me. And so I got out my phone and recorded myself to keep me accountable so I can get out of this rut I was in. And once I started, I could not stop. I started to get excited about my days and get creative about what I was gonna do. I started to become happier and healthier because even though I still had to go to work, I always had something to look forward to after. And when I started showing up for myself better, I started showing up for others better too. I started learning so much about myself and started to find my inner child in everything. I was learning how precious time is. And to just live for today and soak up every moment because time will pass anyways. So jump in that cold lake, draw that horrible drawing, challenge yourself, make mistakes, get out of your comfort zone because time will pass anyways. I love you and I'm glad we exist at the same time. Day 1, day 2, 6, day 10, 15.
First of all, that's so sweet how she ended it. That's so sweet how she ended it. I love you, and I'm glad we all exist at the same time. That's a lovely way to end a message. And at the end of it, what she really is telling us is she's using her phone. This message, I'm gonna challenge myself and hold myself accountable on a practice level. My gymnasium, hers, is I'm gonna take a video of myself enjoying myself at least once a day. You're gonna and you can't do the same enjoyment each day. You have to find something different. You could go back to it, but not in same days. And you have to take a video of yourself enjoying yourself. What that challenges her to do is find something to find something to enjoy every single day. And then now she's creating ahead of time. Oh, you know what I'm going to do next Saturday? I'll be filming us at the lake. And then Sunday, let's see, what do I do? Oh, I think my friend's having a picnic. And every one of them gets her off of her couch, outside of her sad zone that we're using drugs to handle. And we can use this same darn phone that our youths are killing themselves with. Not killing themselves, but we're retarding our society with. And we can use them in positive ways. When I saw that video, it just gave me, it's stylized and she's really something, but think about it on an individual level. And nobody's expecting you to have pizza parties every night like this one is, but I don't think that's every night. That's her compilation. There's probably days where she just has to go outside and skip. And film yourself skipping up and down the road. Have, days where you're just standing on the side of a road and waving to people. Things just that are going to make you outside of yourself, but you got to be creative. That's the other part of it. Give me 5 people that like that a little bit. Give me 5 people that like that just a little bit. Kalini, how you do? It's pretty good, isn't it? There's a good way to use our phone. Imagine teaching our kids to use their phones that way, Jakob. Right? I love you, and I'm glad we all exist at the same time. Okay, we're gonna show one more thing here. This is a stern warning. This is a stern warning that came to us. I didn't even have to do this myself. Okay, you guys ready for this? Actually, let me do it the other way around. I'm gonna do this first. I'm gonna read something to you. Something funny, cute, and nice. Okay, where's it? Hello, Pops. I received my box. This is the greatest line. Talk about creative, okay? I'm just gonna say it, Billy D last week. Yeah, you guys, Billy D's on the West Coast, and Bill is, every time I say this, I feel like I put pressure on him to continue to do it, and I don't mean it. Bill, you can come in anytime you want, but Bill usually is the first person at the door at the gym. He's usually number 1 here in the show. The first name that pops up on my screen. It just works that way, but it's 6 o'clock in the morning for him. I find that a nice commitment. When I see it, it gives me a warm feeling, but at the same time, I'm like, am I pressuring him to be 6 o'clock guy? Bill, you could be at 6:30 anytime you want. I'm not even gonna mention it, okay? But he's always there. And so last week, I saw him pop up again, and I was like, this guy just deserves like a little extra something. So let me send him a nice piece of fruit. I popped that in the mail and sent it to him, okay? That's a little thank you note from Pops. Pops doesn't write thank you notes, he sends them, okay? Some of you know, some of you have received one. So I get this message, okay? You guys ready? Give me 5 people I want to hear the message. And a couple more likes. Is anybody paying attention? Is anybody paying attention? Okay, that's why I asked for likes, because I'm not sure. I'm not getting eye contact. You're like the kids in class that are talking back and forth, and the teacher's just up in the front, wah, 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 wah. And I'm not even sure if the kids are paying attention till quiz time. Okay? All right. This might be on the quiz later. I received my box. Dear Pops, I received my box with the funny-looking key to open the gym in the mornings. Key. The funny-looking key to open the gym in the morning. Now, if you... Okay, so Bill receives his key. Bill, that's funny. Now from there on, I'm cracking up. Okay, the key to the gym. It's funnier when I get to share it with you guys. Okay. Imagine if we needed one. You gotta put a shroom in there, man, to open the door. Oh, that's so good. I love our mornings. You guys, I love you guys, and I'm so happy we exist at the same time. I greatly appreciate it. By the way, I have a couple of suggestions only that we might cover again after we get through the growing medical stages. I really enjoy I really enjoy the discussions and lessons about how medicine gets into the bloodstream and then affects the brain, crossing the brain receptors, and even making the new pathways in the areas that get affected. He's remembering back where about 6 months ago we did a whole brain class, which was fantastic. We'll redo brain class, and then we've learned even more. Plus, there's more information out there now. So we'll get some more brain class information probably after the mushroom grow class. Okay? There's a great suggestion. We'll follow up on that. Brain class. Okay? Also, I know Brock showed us how to make microcaps, but I think this could be another good refresher topic, if you so choose. These are nothing but suggestions that I hope you might consider. So we'll get Brock to redo another class on how to make capsules. Super easy. It's funny though, the first time I went to do them, and I showed him later, the directions are terrible. I think they're in Chinese or something. You have to see somebody else do it with their machine, and then you go, oh, it's that, that's what it was. It's hard to figure out on your own, okay? These are nothing but suggestions. Then this is the part that makes me wrap my arms around Bill and give him a big old tea hug. I think you guys might too, okay? This time of our day, that's a great choice of words. He didn't say this time of my day. And it wasn't even on purpose. Subconsciously, as he's writing, he says, this time of our day is very special to me, as it really helps set the tone of my day. I only actually talk with my own family maybe one day a week for a few minutes, and it feels more like a formality than actual bonding. In comparison, this crew is warm and welcoming and expresses an actual joy and happiness to me and to each other. It helps restore my faith in good people being out there. Sincerely, your friend, Bill D. Big ol' hugs. Thanks, Bill. Thanks for your beautiful note. Thanks for being at the gym every morning. Thanks for making me laugh this morning. Okay? Then Bill sent me a video. That's a big old tea hug. Am I right? Then Bill sent me a letter. Bill sent that letter, but then he also sent a link. A linky dink. Okay? I still miss Woodstock. Get out of here, Inky. Okay, where's the Hinky? Where is it? We're looking for it. Okay, he sent this. And I'm still laughing. But it's actually my message to you guys. If I couldn't have said it better. Okay?
Dave, we're all friends here. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
So what's this I hear about you wanting to leave the friend group chat?
What?
Our friend group chat, where we text each other. We send each other memes. We riff jokes. Talk a little trash.
Moderator, the group chat's too lively. I got a family.
And I'd hate for you to not see your family. But leaving the group chat is not in the rules. Makes me nervous.
Very nervous.
Because we get pretty mean in the group chat.
Very nervous.
And I'd hate for any of that to get out. I mean, Tony, what did you say yesterday? Our friend Jeff got fat. And he most certainly has. And then I added that his new baby's ugly. Now, what am I to do if my big fat friend Jeff and his ugly baby find out that's what I said?
No, I didn't say nothing. I thought it was funny.
You thought it was funny? You thought it was funny? Funny ha-ha? Funny LOL?
Funny, ha-ha.
Now, where was my ha-ha, Dave? Not even a thumbs up from you.
Look, I don't like who I am in there. The pressure of the river's too high.
Nobody likes who they are in the group chat, Dave. We riff jokes. We test the boundaries. It gets a little off color.
Sorry.
You can't leave, Dave. That's not how this goes. That's not how this goes! Tony, Anthony, get his phone. He knows too much.
All right.
Give me the phone. Now, if I see that you've been talking about us in other group chats, this will not go well for you.
I ain't got nothing to hide.
He's clean. I apologize, Dave. You understand. Sorry, fellas. I should be on silent. Oh, that's funny, meme.
Did you get a ding, Tony?
No, I didn't get a ding.
Hey, give me that.
No. Fellas, it's not what it looks like.
He's in another group chat.
No. It's just with my wife.
My wife, he says. You been talking about this?
She's not going to say anything else.
That's not in the rules, Christopher.
Tony.
Mr. Dave, you're the moderator now. Group's gonna love this meme. Just when I thought I was out, they keep pulling me back in.
Pull me back in.
That dog, he's riding a bike.
Okay. Oh, jeez.
What they ate for
That
breakfast
is
in the 1920s.
so funny.
Breakfast is not and has never been the most important meal of the day. The idea.
Oh, gosh darn it. I'm standing behind the camera just trying and laugh. I'm watching that. Fat. Didn't I say he was fat and his kid was ugly? Oh. Oh. Larry B, send me an email. I mean, an IG. If you send, isn't it no? How do I do it? You'll have to send me an email because it's in my email. The link is in my email. So if somebody wants that, give me a link. Send me an email at the Detroit Mush Lab at gmail.com. That's my email address. And I can send you a link on that. Okay. Give me 5 people that thought that was funny. 5. That's all I'm asking for. Oh, that's us. That's us. It was so perfect. How much money did they spend on that production? What do you think, Rhonda? They had to have spent a few $1,000s. They had the lighting, they had the outfit, they had the camera angles, they had the dialogue. It's like, who went to the expense of making that? Right? That was, oh, that was so good. Especially after talking about Joe Pesci this morning. See, Pops keeps themes running through the show. Oh, that's funny. Okay. If the word gets out that you've been in other chat rooms. Good stuff. Let's talk about growing mushrooms. Okay. Thank you for letting me share funnies with you guys this morning. Every morning. Aren't we supposed to start our morning out laughing? Give me 5 people. Who agrees? Who agrees? I'm going to read a really quick message from Radical Mycology. It was written by Peter McCoy. It's the Bible of Bibles in Mycology community. Radical Mycology. It's a big old thick thing. Probably about a quarter of it is like super like on point for what we're doing. The rest, he does history. He does his own philosophies. He goes through all kinds of appendixes and stuff like that. It's just an enormous amount of information. You can get it off of Etsy, Radical Mycology, and the last guy I saw to have it was on Etsy, and they were about $60 a book. It's a phenomenally worth it to add to your library. Okay, that's right, nerdy. A giggle to get going. That's a good way to put it. Mistakes are great. The more I make, the smarter I get. How do you like that, Penny? How do you like that one, Penny? Mental preparation and self-care. As with learning any new skill set, gaining a solid familiarity with the practices takes dedication and it takes time. To pave a gentle path into the world of cultivation, I recommend starting slow. I love the way he said that. To pave a gentle path into the world of growing, of cultivating. Gentle path into the world of cultivation. I recommend starting slowly with some of the projects listed in Appendix J. Told you he's got appendixes everywhere. So all these projects he's recommending. Developing a Zen-like sense of patience and humility is also helpful if you are just beginning. And if you don't have them and you stick with it, they'll grow. I didn't have Zen-like, still kind of don't. Patience or humility, I have more now. When I first started, the Shrooms brought it to me. Only because my ego wanted so bad to be a really good shroom grower. And eventually the Shroom said, stop the ego, be patient, and a little more humble. Give a lot of us away. Teach other people how to do it. Don't be Mr. I know it all. Let other people be right, and we'll grow a whole bunch for you. Developing a Zen-like sense of patience will help. Try to accept up front that some projects will never grow fruit, while many others will inevitably get contaminated. See all of your projects, the successes and the failures, as steps up the ladder of any mycognosis. This does not imply that you need to be discouraged before you ever begin. Rather, consider mushroom growing to be its most engaging when it's coupled with a feeling of adventure and embracing of the unknown. You have no idea what's going to pop up in that little tub. It's an entire new adventure. Actually, every single tub is. Be sure to pay close attention to your work habits. Often cultivators develop such a codependent relationship with the mushroom they grow that they become tied to their projects. The most devout staying up late to culture far beyond the witching hour. If you notice any semi-obsessive habits developing in yourself, take a moment to pause. Assess your needs and capacities, and perhaps scale back your list of myco to-dos to a more manageable number. Don't get out of control when you first get started. Well, ever. Always keep a balance. There is always more to learn in this field. So save something for tomorrow or next month if you start to feel overwhelmed. Working with a mentor or a group of friends significantly helps remove many of the stresses associated with learning to culture. Plus, it's a lot more fun to nerd out on mushrooms with other people. Don't be afraid to ask for help and build connections amongst other radical mycologists. Pretty good message. Thank you, Peter McCoy. We're going to get back. He's got some more stuff to tell us later this week. Let's nerd out right now. Last week, we talked about syringes, spore syringe versus a liquid culture syringe. We recommended that you get your liquid culture syringe, get them ordered, find out who you're going to get it from. I said if you can find your way around, get spore syringe, that's legal. If you can find yourself sneaking into the gray area without a bad conscience, find somebody that'll send you a liquid culture, and you'll be a little bit faster and a little further on the way for your situation. The next thing that you want to do, step 2, it's actually stage 1 in our book. Stage 1. Stage 1 we're going to take, we already know our liquid culture is coming. If we didn't feel like making our own grain, preparing our own grain, we're going to have that be mailed to us too. And at the same time, we're deciding, are we going to make our own soil? And if we're not going to make our own soil, we're going to have that mailed to us. So that's all in the prep stage. Now we're at stage 1. We decided to make our own grain. Okay, not as legal, Mr. Phillips. That's my way of saying it. Come on, man. I gotta watch it over here. Stage 1. If you ordered your grain bags or jars from a trusted vendor, you can skip this stage and go to the next one. Okay? Thank you, Lightning. Many types of grain are good to use. Remember what our grain right now is, it's going to be the fuel for the liquid culture or the spores. We're going to put them on this sterilized. There's no competing other microbes or anything else unhealthy. Nothing's competing. Everything else is on this grain. When we're done and it's prepped, it's inert. It's completely sterile. So when we go to put our liquid culture or we go to put our spores on that completely sterile protein for this liquid culture, it's going to have a quicker way to grab and it won't be contaminated from the start. The contamination won't come from the grain. The only place that can, or the liquid culture going in, the only place afterwards the contamination can come from is our airflow and the way we handle things. Okay? Many types of grain are good to use. These are the type that are typically used in our mycology. We're typical are millet, whole oats, rye berries, corn, milo. Those are some of the most specific and easy to get, okay? When preparing, let me talk about those briefly. Millet, tiny little thing. Millet's a great substrate for grain spawn. It's a great grain. Reason being is after it's completely colonized, after millet is completely colonized, when you go to break it up into the soil substrate, because of its small circumference, and once it gets touching with the substrate, it has a greater amount of contact for more mycelial growth. So when we break up our millet, because they're like tiny little pellets, so when we break those up, there's a lot more contact in the substrate to begin our cultivation. Okay, our colonization, I should say. Millet. But in my opinion, millet's also the hardest to prepare correctly. Millet, it takes practice. Millet, we're not going to discuss it here. There's plenty of information online about how to prepare and sterilize millet. Millet is a great substrate, but if you don't do it correctly, you end up with a soggy mess, or you end up with stuff that's not wet enough yet, and the liquid culture really wasn't interested in it. So millet, fantastic. It's probably the hardest to prepare, okay? Brown rice is fine, absolutely, Babylon. But again, brown rice is, it's like one of the things that they started with in the 90s when people were just coming up with PF Tech and a new way to start growing mushrooms, and brown rice was the go-to. And it still is, like especially in Uncle Ben's tech. But brown rice, again, it's a lot harder to prepare than people think. You can over-prepare it or under-prepare it super easy, okay? Whole oats. My opinion is whole oats is the easiest overall to prepare. You get a great result from whole oats, and they're super easy to get a hold of. If you have anything like, what's that tractor company? What's that store? Help me out, I'm drawing a blank on tractor. the outlet that sells grain and stuff like that. Tractor Supply. Thank you, Penny. Thank you. Supply. Tractor Supply. You go to Tractor Supply in their feed section for horses, whole oats. You can buy a bag of 50 pounds a bag of whole oats for somewhere around 25 bucks. Okay? So it's like this is, and it's pretty darn clean. Meaning it doesn't full of chaff and other junk and little weedies and stuff that they've put in to add weight. Tractor Supply is where we were getting all of our whole oats, 250-pound lots at a time. Okay? Whole oats. We're going to discuss how to prepare whole oats. All right? Rye berries. Rye berries are a fantastic source. When I'm not using whole oats, I'm using rye berry. Currently over at the grow house, we're using rye berry right now. I found a source that I could get a volume amount of rye berry at a really good price. So rye berry is what we're using again. Rye berry is, actually, you know what? I have samples of most of these grains. I'll show you guys tomorrow. I'll have it ready for the show tomorrow. I have samples of each of these type of grains. This is a rye berry right here. And this is what our friend outgrow.com, he uses rye berry, preps that, and then bags it. It's sterile in the bag, ready to come to you. And then you'll undo the outer bag, inject the inner bag, and this is the fellow that you wait on for about 21 days to get going. Okay? Rye berry. The next is corn. Popcorn. Popcorn, it's a lot of fun to try popcorn, and popcorn's a very, very good source. Literally all you need is go down to the Kmart or Myers or Kroger or whatever you got around you. They don't have a Kmart anymore. What are you doing, Pops? Clean up on blue light special, popcorn. If you just go buy a bag, a kernel of popcorn, you know how you get it way before you even, nobody uses popcorn like this anymore, where they put it in the oil and actually pop it themselves. Just a bag of kernel of popcorn. Orville Redenbacher's, anybody, it doesn't matter. White, yellow, multicolored, it doesn't matter. Popcorn kernels themselves. It makes a great source. They take a little bit more prep time. The only big difference between using popcorn and the way I'm going to explain how to do whole oats, the only difference is popcorn needs a soak time. So when we're going to do this, when we're going to use popcorn, we'll pre-soak our popcorn kernels so they get wetter and more ready for their actual stage of sterilization. So because popcorns are so hard and so dry, they take a pre-soak, okay? We used to teach pre-soak everything. There's many technologies now that tell us we don't have to do that. The one that I'm gonna show you, we don't pre-soak, okay? And then final one we talked about, Milo. Milo, that's another grain. It's a little harder to find. It isn't necessarily worth all of the effort to find it, but it's fun to try. As you grow in your mycology stages, I recommend try every one. Try every one of these different kinds of grains over a period of time. Say, this time I'm going to try popcorn. This time I'm going to try corn. Whole oats. This time I'm going to try rye berry. And you'll watch the difference in your own home environment as to which one works the best for you and your expectations. Okay? Tomorrow morning, we'll start out a lot faster and a lot earlier. We're going to explain, once you've got your whole oats in front of you, how do you prepare that, bag it up, and get it ready to inject, okay? Actually, here, I do have a picture here. Let me show you. I have a picture here. Sorry, give me a second. Come on, Pops, get it together. So So what we're seeing here is corn, what the rye berry looks like, what the whole oats look like, what millet looks like. And we're going to discuss tomorrow morning how to take this. I called it whole wheat here. It might have been, should say whole wheat, whole oat. Right here, we're going to teach you how to prep this, get it into a jar like this, all sterilized and ready to go. Okay? So, because we're running out of time, I'll have to pick up on that tomorrow. But we're gonna, if you have your grain, and the preparation that I'm gonna show you tomorrow isn't necessarily super specific. It's a recipe for preparation that you can use for almost all of the grains by just shifting the time frames that we're gonna teach you. Okay, so tomorrow, if you have your grain and you have a ball jar around, we're gonna get you going on how to prepare that grain for that syringe that you have on the way. I'm excited. Give me 5 people that are excited and wish we had more time so I could talk more about it today. Penny, that's a good price. That's a really good price. We only have about 15 minutes left shy, but I'm still excited about that. Okay? Did anybody take anything personal this weekend? Pacers, if I were to buy pre-made, the 1 pound rye berry bags, just like this. I think he's charging like $6 or $7 a bag. And he's done all the work and everything, sends it to you just like that. Okay? That's what I would recommend. And you're going to want, if you have a 54-gallon mono tub that you're working with, get 3 pounds of rye berry. 3 pounds of rye berry for a 54-quart grow. Okay? Did anybody take anything personal this weekend? And then they found themselves getting ready to, and then I'm not going to do it. Anybody slip into the old, I took it personal? Anybody? Yeah, RX, that's fantastic. That's the great answer. Yeah, but anybody take anything personal? Sandy, thanks for being honest. Carson did. I don't mean personal days off. Mike Barball slipped. Mike Barball's human? Wait a minute, I thought Mike was like Superman. Anybody take anything personal? Anybody thought they were so personally important that they didn't even think there was the other person, not them? I might have slipped into it for a second. I might have read something and go, what? Oh, yeah, that's right. That's not me. I might have to stop it. I might have to run a thing or two through the old analysis machine. I didn't act out, though. I'm honest. I've got to tell the truth. I didn't act out on my anything. If I took anything personal, I processed it and I forgot about it. So I probably did, but I worked through it real quick. And I certainly didn't fire back. Nope. Because then I wouldn't have been impeccable. See how it works? If you fire back, you lose the impeccability agreement. Hey, he's catching us. We're in a circle here. Wait, you mean if I fire back, I'm blowing the first agreement? I'm not only blowing the second agreement, but I'm blowing the first one too? Or I'm supposed to use my words only for good and powerful, white, magic stuff? Huh. So firing back's not a good idea. It was already a bad idea to take it personal in the first place. Page 53, the 4 agreements. Page 53. We're about halfway down the page. Whatever people do, feel, think, or say, don't take it personally. If they tell you how wonderful you are, they are not saying that because of you. You know you're wonderful. They're not saying it because of you. They're saying it because of them. They're having a feeling. There's a combination of things that are going on in their life. When when Billy D this morning told, anybody, me, I could sit around and get all puffed up. Do you see what he's telling us about this? Oh man, this is so. What Bill was telling us is, I'm getting mentally healthier. I feel good. He's directing it, and that's a beautiful thing because we're all receiving compliments from it. But it isn't about us. It's a reflection of him. That was a mirror of where Bill is. And so what we get to do is go, God, what a beautiful looking Bill. Not a beautiful looking me. I don't look any better. I already looked okay. I'm glad to see Bill looking better. When Bill can say those kind of things and express them out loud, I guarantee you this isn't the kind of thing that was easy for him a few years ago. It isn't about me. It isn't about you. That one was about Bill. No, he was writing. He wasn't thinking, I'm writing about me. If he was, it wouldn't have sounded beautiful. It would have sounded creepy. If you tell yourself how wonderful you are, they're not saying, if they tell you how wonderful you are, they're not saying it because of you. You know you're wonderful. It's not necessary. You know you're wonderful because you've been being impeccable. You're already being impeccable. That's wonderful. That's filled with wonder. Someone that could be impeccable fills me with wonder. It's so easy not to be in our matote. It's wonder. It's a feeling of wonder that people could actually not only be impeccable, but want to be. It's not necessary to believe that other people think you're wonderful. Just be wonderful. Just be. Take the focus off what they think of you. Take the focus off what you think of them. The most two unimportant things in the whole planet. What someone thinks of you or what you think of them means nothing. And yet we spend so much of our personal energy on that. Day after day after day through our matriculation through life. Every bit of that energy can be reharnessed and grow medicine. Or help other people to your gym. Pi, why do you? Because you're human, because you were programmed to crave acceptance. We were programmed to that. And it's completely unhealthy. Even if someone got a gun and shot you in the head, it wasn't against you. It wasn't anything personal. Even that extreme. Listen to this. Even the opinions you have about yourself are not necessarily true. Not every opinion is true, right? What if the opinions you have about yourself aren't based on truth? They're based on perception that you've agreed to. Do you know how many opinions I had about myself that were not true? Oh. Do you know how many opinions I had about myself that were not true? Some were like overblown bullshit. You're really this and that. You're popping that and you're oh God. Some of them were like puffed myself up bigger than a Goodyear blimp. Some I couldn't get my head in the door. Others, I'm crawling around on the floor. I can't believe my opinion of myself. I'm the lowest hangdog. I don't even belong in the room. I've run the gamut. I've run the whole gamut. All opinions. All of those opinions were based off of other people's opinions. The world's opinions. Even the opinions you have about yourself are not necessarily true. You shouldn't take your own opinions seriously, personally. That's a tough one. Don't take your own opinions about yourself personally. When I find an opinion about myself that's negative, I throw it away now. It's an opinion of myself. It was formed somewhere in my past and in my programming, my socializing, my domestication, my ingramming, all of the stuff piling in. I formed this opinion. And if it has negative streaks in it, I detest it now. I throw it out. I start from scratch. If there was an element of truth in any of that part of an opinion, and it was a negative, I have something I get to work on. And usually I find out the negative, that little spark, is so simple. Once I boil it down to what the really source of my, this irritation of myself is, I find out it's usually some kind of ego-driven crap. It's usually back to the something when my ego was a baby. The mind has the ability to talk to itself, but it also has the ability to hear information that's available from other realms. Sometimes you hear a voice in your mind and you may wonder where it came from. This voice may have come from another reality in which there are living things similar to the human mind. The Toltecs call these beings allies. In Europe, Africa, and India, they call them gods. Our mind also exists at this level, this God level. We wouldn't even be able to hear these things. What I hear is, uh-oh, you're getting ready to take something personal. I hear that in my mind now. If I practice not taking something personal, when I start to, I hear in my mind a voice that's literally, quite literal, close to literally saying, you're getting ready to take something personal. I don't know how to describe that. I don't know what to call it. I didn't want to put a label on it. But he puts a label on it. He just says it's God in me. It's my God mind. Okay, we'll go with that for now. I'm not too worried about words, and I'm worried about what I'm thinking here. I don't have to label it, but if it's our God mind, our mind also lives in a reality that can perceive that reality. The mind sees with eyes and perceives this waking reality. But the mind also sees and perceives without eyes. Although the reason is hardly aware of this. The mind lives in more than one dimension. There may be times when you have ideas that don't originate in your mind, but you're perceiving them in your mind. You have the right to believe or not believe these voices. And then you have the right to not take them personally. We have a choice whether or not to believe the voices we hear in our own mind. that you're an idiot. You know, you're not that bad a guy. You totally suck. You're a guy that's seeking and doing a good job. Keep practicing. All of those voices come in your mind. They come in mine. They do. I don't know if we even use the word voice because it's not audible. There is an inner voice. And I have a right to accept some of those or not. I get to agree to them or not. My new balance is I have to have experienced it to believe it. I can't believe I suck if I'm not doing anything sucky right now. I can believe I'm doing a good job. Oh, you're doing a good job. I can believe that because I'm doing a good job right now. So my mind is now balancing itself out to believe what you're doing. Believe what you're doing. And you'll also find out it's human. This is natural. You become what you practice. You become what you practice. If you want to be something, start being it. You'll be it. If I wanted to be a lumberjack, and I really wanted to be a lumberjack, all I'd have to do is get an axe and go start cutting down trees. And if I really wanted to be a lumberjack, I'd probably move to the Northwest and go get a job as a lumberjack. All I'd have to do is start practicing it. Anything you want to be, you can start doing and being if you practice it. We're talking about practicing mentally. We have a choice whether or not to believe the voices we hear within our own minds. Just as we have a choice of what to believe and agree with in this whole dream of the planet. All of this matote, all of the things on the billboards, all of the things you see on TV, all of the things that's coming at us over the phone, all the things that's being poured at us through politics, all the things from world, international affairs, everything that's coming at us. What are we going to choose to believe? How are we going to choose to reply to any of it? The mind can also talk and listen to itself. I have about 5 more minutes, you guys. You guys are listening this morning. This is beautiful. The mind can also talk and listen to itself. The mind is divided just as your body is. Just as you can say, I have one hand and I can shake my other hand and feel the other hand, the mind can talk to itself. Just as I have one hand and I can take this other hand and shake this hand, and now I can feel both hands. This hand can talk to this hand. He says our mind can do the same thing. Part of the mind is speaking. If part of the mind is speaking, what's the other part doing? If part of your mind is speaking, part of your hand, this hand's reaching out to this hand. What's this hand doing? This one's transmitting, this one's receiving, right? What's it doing? Thank you, Derek. It's listening. 2 parts of your mind. If one's speaking, there's another part listening. It's a big problem. Big problem happens when thousands of your parts of your mind are speaking at the same time. That's matote. That's the fog of the universe. When you're getting all of these messages, you don't know which one to follow. You don't know which one to believe. And this one's coming at you, and that one's... And you're hearing thousands of things at the same time. If you're hearing thousands of things, then some thousands are speaking too. Kimberly, that's right. Back in the program, we called that stinking thinking. And the only way to stop stinking thinking is stop thinking. You know what's the best way to stop thinking? What's the best way to stop thinking? You guys have been right everything so far. What's the best way to stop thinking? No, Shine, that's not the best way. Jesus Christ, you're out of control. Melody, close. Kimberly's absolutely right again. Kim, move to the front of the club. Do something. Act. Don't think. Do. Get up and go do something. In the program, they want you to do something for another guy in the program. That makes sense. You're healing each other. The reason you're really doing something isn't for them. It's for you. You're the one that actually benefits from it. How does that work? You're actually helping yourself more. You're the grower. And that guy, that gal, they're getting what they need too. Because you stopped just sitting around listening and self-medicating because those voices got stupid. I'm going to drown them out. You can't even hear them when you're helping. How many voices can you hear like that when you're standing in a soup line and you're on the other side and you're dishing out something onto a dish for somebody that really could use a meal? You think I'm being Mr. Dramatic? I am not. I am not being dramatic. I'm telling you that there's a complete way to stop hearing those thousands of voices. And it doesn't take a single drug. It takes a choice. Which ones are you going to listen to? I'm going to listen to the one that says, get up and go do something. That's the one I'm going to listen to. The mitote of the mind can be compared to a huge marketplace where thousands of people are talking and battering at the same time. Each one has different thoughts and feelings. Each one has a different point of view. This can all be going on in your mind. I've been there. The programming in the mind, all of these agreements we have made are not necessarily compatible with one another. Duh. Every agreement is like a separate living being. It has its own personality, its own voice. Sybil. Every agreement that I have, I now have a new voice. I only have 4 of them though, so I only need to listen to 4 voices. I'm not kidding. I'm programming myself down to I gotta listen to 4 voices. The rest of them, you're matote. You're nothing but matote. I can't pay attention. I have 4 voices, 4 voices that I listen to. 4 God minds. 4 things that I'm going to balance the things that I'm going to do and say against. How awesome is that? We could take all of these voices. Kim, you like that one? We could take all these voices and narrow them down to the healthiest choices we can make. Grab the best agreements you got and hold on to those. Those crappy agreements that you've got, start eject. Start hitting the eject button. Every voice has its own, every agreement has its own voice. It's a separate living being. It has its own personality. The one that wants to kick your ass, the one that wants to be your judge, the one that wants to tell you what a crap you are, the one that wants to gossip about your friends, the one that wants to be envious about things that other people have and they didn't really deserve it, and but you do, and the one that says you should get the promotion, but Joe did. All those voices, they all have their own personality. There isn't one of those I want to hang around. As I'm describing them, ugh, what a bunch of creepy guys. God, with terrible personalities. I mean, God, what kind of personalities do I have in me? They are conflicting agreements. We have conflicting agreements that go against other agreements that we have. That's the big war in the mind. That's the mitote. The mitote is the reason humans hardly know what they want. They don't know how to get what they want. They don't know when they want it. They can't agree with parts of themselves. When you can't agree with parts of yourselves, you can't know what you want. You can't know when you want it. You can't even know how to get it. You'll have parts of you that want one thing, you'll have other parts of you want the exact opposite. That's a mitote. Some part of the mind has objections to certain thoughts and actions, and another part supports the actions. All these little living beings create inner conflict because each are alive and they have their own voice. Only by making an inventory of all our agreements will we uncover all the conflicts in our mind. And eventually, we can make order out of this mitote. I didn't make an inventory. We're done with that for today. I didn't make an inventory of my negative agreements. I just stopped listening to any voice that wasn't one of the four. The negative agreement, I'll be honest with you, I'm not a big inventory list guy. I'm not. I'm a get out there and do it guy. If I owe an amend, I'll do it. I'll make the amend. I don't have to write it down, make a list, plan it out. Then I'm going to go, and yet that's constructive. I'm not making lists. I'm just going to listen to four voices that I now agree to. Fred, thanks for mentioning that. We really want to. I can't believe what's happening with Milton. Boy, oh boy, on top of Helene and everything else. What the humans really, we've done this, we're literally reaping what we sowed a long time ago when we weren't listening to what we were doing to the planet. And we just kept putting on the hairspray and blowing gas emissions, and we didn't care. And there were scientists telling us 40, 50, 60 years ago, slow down, dudes. And I'm not going to get into the politics of global warming. Because I'll be honest with you, I wanted to be a global warming hoax guy. I did. I wanted to be. It's more comfortable. It's easier. It's simple. I wouldn't have to admit my mistakes. And I didn't listen. I'm one of the 8 trillion people that didn't listen. And people are dying everywhere now. Not just in the United States, but the United States is getting its share now. Boy, oh boy. Biggest storm on the planet this year. Biggest storm that's going to hit the whole thing in over 100 years. And it's not getting, these aren't getting better. I don't think next season's going to be better. Oh, okay, well, we finally got the zenith. We're not even close. We're just on the way up. So, again, I'm not going to have arguments here with people that are hoaxers or anything like that. It's not a political page. It's a page where Fred just made me think I'd actually thought about it when I was coming to the program because I was watching CNN. That is a couple of meteorologists, professional meteorologists, on one guy in Florida. He's been doing this for 40 years, and he started crying as he was telling. He goes, this one, you're not going to believe what's going to happen. Because you guys can't, this one, it's just dropped 50 millibars in an hour. Because this one, this is one of the biggest, it's the biggest he's can ever see. And he's already crying and it hasn't even hit the coast. And I broke up. I'm watching this fella, and why was he crying? He wasn't crying for himself. He was crying for the people he knew was going to be impacted. And we've done that to ourselves. So thank you for reminding me of that, Fred. If you have an extra 10 or 15 bucks sitting around anywhere, get it to the Red Cross. Get it to an organization you believe will make a difference with that few dollars. Okay? I'm willing to not have a pizza this week. And if every single person we knew that didn't have a pizza this week, we'd sure be helping out some families that sincerely need it. Okay? Again, we're not doing, Kamala has absolutely nothing to do with it, and we're not politicizing national disasters the way sickening people on every side have done. It's an absolute travesty that anybody would politicize something like this. It's a pure travesty. There's people of the greatest ilk out there doing the very best they can. The very best they can. Can't imagine being an employee of FEMA, and your job every day is to see the people just dragged out of the mud and barely alive and crying and don't know what to do next. And we're going to sit here and politicize that? Bullshit. And anybody that does is playing into their matote. There's nothing political about this. Nothing. And if you want to blame anything, go back to the politics and say, why couldn't you goddamn Democrats and Republicans get together for a change and stop turning this thing into politics and give some money? Put the money where your mouth is. It makes me, obviously, I just got upset, obviously. Now, I didn't take it personal. I got upset. I can't believe that we want to make this a political issue. It has nothing to do with that. Go stand down there and ask a Republican if he gives a shit about who. Go ask a Democrat down there. Go ask somebody that's standing in line and can't get food. Ask them if they give a damn what party it is. Hand them some money, give them some solutions. And everybody has their own little thing on this. The answer is get out there and help. Reach in. You don't even have a right to say something. You don't even have a right to judge if you didn't reach in your pocket and send them a pizza. And the most, you know who you hear talking about it? Oh, and they did this, and they FEMA that, and Trump and Kamala. Put your money where your mouth is. Send them a 15 spot. When you send them a 15 spot, you have a right to talk $15 worth. That's it. Good, Larry, I'm glad. People they all having their thing, and none of them putting their money, none of them. There's one guy, I'm so pleased I follow him on IG. His name's Dead Man Walking. Dead Man Walking, spending his whole weekends down there, doing whatever he can. And he's sending pictures back to show us the devastation in North Carolina. He's putting his money where his mouth is. We're a shameful lot. We're a shameful lot to sit around and talk about this and not do something about it. And turn it into politics. Politics is hate. All you're doing is spreading hate and division. Anybody on any of these sides. We're taking the most horrendous natural disasters and turning them into hate and division. Shame. That's all I have to say. Don't do that. Don't fall into that trap that they're programmed you to. How dare them program you to have that? How dare them? How dare them program us? Pennypack, you're doing a good job. Something that should be drawing the whole nation together, and we're choosing to make it a divisive issue? Don't be tricked. Thanks, Rail Spill. Boy, I'm off. I'm off. Pop's lost it. How can I not lose it when we're losing human lives and using those as ways to try to persuade someone that you're doing something good? You're doing the exact opposite. Go have a good day, everybody. I'm sorry for leaving it on a screaming note. So I'll calm down. Obviously, you heard my personal opinion, and it's based off of my agreements with myself to don't be divisive. Got that one off my chest. I probably won't have to talk about that tomorrow. Have a good day. Oh, Gasly, I'm having a great day. It actually feels really good to give you my opinion, because you don't usually hear Pop's opinion on these kind of things. It feels okay. I don't ask you to believe me. I don't ask you to agree with me. You don't have to. I don't care. I know what I'm saying is about goodness and kindness, about treating each other correctly. That's what I care about. I don't want more division. I don't want more. I certainly don't want it here in our group. Don't bring it in here. Don't bring it anywhere. Don't bring it into your mind. Have a good day, King. Derek and Nerdy, Herbie, Gasly. Kim, you have a good day too. Kim, thanks for letting me have therapy on you. All over you. Michael Patterson. Shanti is what we need. You're absolutely right, Mac. Susan, we're not going to do that. Four Leaf, Herbie, Mike, Buddy, thank you. Penny, thank you. Nippy, love ya. Pidgey Page, you're all right. Melody, have a great day. Nippy, love you. Frey Hinkle, we're not doing that stuff, are we? Pacers, John Zook, stay impeccable, Kingy. Four Leaf and Laura and Niffy and Vegas. Keep in mind, that's right, Meg. Catzilla, Mike, Trenty and Pacers, and Jesus Christ. How come I never get like that with you? Because I love you, Jesus. Shiny and Mr. Phillips and Gnome King and Ani and Random Content and Ghastly and Jesus Christ. Hello, Jolie, Kimberly, Forley, Pennypack. Jodi's, thank God, Alma, Vegas. Time Voyager, I'm alive, I'm kicking, you should have listened to me. G. Newman, not doing that. Mike Barball, Real Spill. Susan, all right, you just don't want to play, right? Susan, Jesus Christ, Ani, Shine, Four Leaf, Dolo Smoke, Ani, Billy D, Vasti, Mushroom Science all the way. Jesus Christ, and Melody, and Nogo, and Joe, Pops, peace. I'll apologize if I upset anybody, screaming my opinion at the top of my lungs. Stop dividing each other. Find ways to grow together, not grow apart. Pops out.